Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, brought to you each week by the National Sports Collectors Convention. Join us every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and get the latest news from the greatest experts in the sports collectibles world. You can watch us on the Great American Collectibles Facebook page, as well as YouTube, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. And now your hosts, award-winning sports collectibles author Tom Zappala and Boston sports media personality John Mallory.
JM, my main man, how are you, brother?
How you doing, buddy?
What's going on?
What's new?
What's new? We had a great event this past weekend. Rico,
yeah, I saw the photos.
Rico and Elsie came over from the West Coast of Florida. Stayed a couple of days, and we had a gig down in Wellington, Florida, which, by the way, is a beautiful town.
Is that right?
Horse town, polo, all that stuff.
Nice.
So there was a big festival down there. We raised a few bucks for the Little Smiles Children's Fund.
Awesome.
Rico was really accommodating. You know, people just wanted to chat with him. And, we charged $25 to have your picture taken, autographs, sign something, whatever. While we were sitting there over the course of 3 hours, he had 2 sausage and pepper sandwiches and 2 slices of pizza over the 3 hours. Couldn't believe it.
Rico can eat, man. He can eat.
We had fun. And then we went out on Saturday night. Thank God we went to a little seaside bar down the street.
Yeah,
because we imbibed a little bit too much. Another friend of ours, Tom Fasese, you know Tommy.
Of course, yeah.
Tommy was here with his wife for the week. So
Tommy's he's a Methuen guy, isn't he?
Yeah. My condolences. All right, Tom Zappala.
I ate this week at Abe and Louie's in Boston, and it was outstanding.
Overrated.
It's not overrated. It's actually underrated.
Over freaking rated.
Other restaurants
Capital
like that.
Grill is much better.
I was about to say that's semi-overrated. Abe and Louie's is not overrated.
All right, fine. Have your way. Welcome to the Great American Collectible Show. Tom Zappala, my good friend, co-host, radio personality, TV personality, who once got thrown out of the Boston market because he pissed off a lot of people. John Mallory.
When you say the Boston market, you don't mean the chicken place.
No, I don't.
Because I was because I did get thrown out of there once.
All right, we've got Al Crisafulli from Love of the Game Auctions. We have Andrew Aronstein from Love of the Game Auctions, and we have our good friend Vinny Balisky from Lucky's Promotions. We're going to bring Vinny in right now. Vinny, how are you, brother?
Good, Tom. How are you?
Good. Nice to see you. Vinny, you look exhausted, man.
3 shows in 5 weeks will do that to you.
Al, just before we talk with Vinny, just to answer your question, Mallory had a column in one of the Boston papers, one of the big Boston papers. And John, what was it? What was the name of the?
I used to do a sports media column, and it was actually syndicated. It was at Providence Journal, Lowell Sun, Eagle Tribune, Boston Metro.
Right.
Yeah.
So he would review.
So I would critique, review and break news on sports media happenings in New England.
So let's suffice it to say that he pissed off so many people.
I did.
In the market, being critical that they kind of moved him out. Pretty much, John?
Well, nobody moved me out. Nobody moved me out. But I mean, if you're going to do it, there's a certain aspect of journalism called integrity, which you know nothing about. So, when you tell it like it is, a la Howard Cosell, you make some friends and you make some enemies. But I feel good about everything I've done.
Sure you
We're going to have another session next week because I think that medication is working.
All right. Let's get to Vinny. All right, Vinny, first and foremost, let's go through how many shows do you actually own and run now? Starting with Boston. You've got 2 Boston shows, right?
Yeah, 2 Boston shows, 3 White Plains shows, and we're going to be doing 3 Hofstra shows. The third one's going to get announced pretty soon.
All right, so you're doing 3, 6, 9 shows.
8 shows.
8 shows. My God, you're going to be kidding me. A year.
It's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, it's a real lot. All right, so Boston show, which is it still called the Altman show? No, right?
No, it's called the Boston show.
Creative.
Yes. I had to dig deep for
Keep,
that one.
keep it simple, Vinny. Keep it simple.
So,
That's
hey,
exactly what
Al,
it
by
is.
the way, Al, chime in here, and Andrew, chime in, you guys. Have any questions? But all right, so the Boston show, which was the former Altman show, is next week, correct?
April 11th to 13th.
Any tables left open? Because we've had a couple of inquiries, and I said I have no idea.
Shockingly, yeah, we do have about a dozen or so tables available for the show. We're giving them out on a first come, first serve basis. Um, I think it's going to be a record attendance for the show with the lineup we have. So, I mean, anyone that's been interested, I think they should come out.
Yeah, I remember that show was always good. We used to work with Rich quite a bit. As a matter of fact, before we came to Florida and for the extended time, we did the show there a couple of times. Rich was a good guy. I know the show, you guys have taken it a long way. Now you have another show, Boston show, coming up. This is the first one,
Sure.
and that's the weekend of June 28th, 29th.
Yeah, June 27th to 29th. We're going to try it. It's always been April, November. So we're going to try to do one in the middle and see how it goes.
Same place, same venue.
Yep, Shriners Auditorium in Wilmington.
Zap, I mean, one thing, obviously, we're going to get into more of the show and want to obviously talk to Al and Andrew as well. But I think, Vinny, the amazing thing that I saw, which I know I'm not the only one, is the 4 Red Sox World Series MVPs are all going to be there, which is like, to me, just unbelievable. An unbelievable opportunity for collectors, right, to get whatever World Series memorabilia or pictures you have signed by Lowell, Pappy, Manny, and Stephen Pierce.
Correct. Yeah, no, it's the first time they've all been together. And
great.
we actually went and elevated it. We spoke with the Red Sox, and the Red Sox are being kind enough to loan us at least one of the original World Series trophies.
Oh, neat.
All the photo ops, whether it's
Neat.
the group with the 4 of them or individually with any of the 4
Like,
at no additional cost.
how could you not do that?
Very
You know what I mean? It's-
Once in a lifetime
It
opportunity.
really is. It truly is. If you had gotten the World Series MVP from 1918, it would have been even better. But maybe you can have Zap step in because he's roughly the same.
Well, let me
age.
tell you guys something. By the way, speaking of the Red Sox, this Friday obviously is opening day for the Red Sox, and they're flying. Rico's flying out today. Yesterday. Rico flew out. They're flying out the entire 75 Boston Red Sox team.
Oh,
because
cool.
it's the 50th anniversary.
That's right.
And they're going to introduce them, and everyone's going to go to their position before the game starts. It's going to be kind of cool. I think, Rico, we were talking about it. I think the only one that's passed that from the starting 9 was Denny Doyle.
Yeah, Denny's. Yeah,
I think he's the only one that's gone. So Rico was kind of excited about that.
That's fantastic.
Flying him back and forth. That'd be nice.
So good.
So make sure if you're a Boston fan, you catch it.
Yeah.
Hey, Vinny, by the way, John, we're going to be broadcasting in June, Rico and I, from the Boston show. Now, did I ask you if you wanted to join us?
No, you didn't. If you want a good broadcast, though, you should.
Why don't you plan on joining Rico and I on
right.
that Saturday afternoon?
Okay.
I know that your schedule is like,
I mean, I got a lot going on.
Yeah,
so,
it's called a new girlfriend is what it's called.
Hey, right? Zap, we hit 1 year this past Friday.
Congratulations. When are you going to pop the question?
No, stop.
All right, Vinny. So now we got the 2 Boston shows. Tell us about the Hofstra show, White Plains. They've been hugely successful. What are the dates of those shows?
So upcoming, we actually have the Hofstra show the end of this month, the 26th to the 27th. So just a short turnaround after Boston. Then we have East Coast National at White Plains, which is August 15th to 17th. That's the biggest show of our year.
And Vinny, there's I went on your website, which is what, luckycardshows.com. Is it
correct?
Okay. And you have you have like VIP ticket packages, all kinds of stuff people should check out.
Yeah, no, the VIP is great if you're there for the autographs, for sure. It's $99. You get weekend admission, so 3 days worth of admission. You get to cut the line for every autograph guest. So we have 20 guys.
Yeah.
If you wait online an hour each, you could save 20 hours worth of time.
Well, Vinny, our good friend Al Crisafulli from Live the Game is dying to get into the White Plains show. So if someone croaks, please let us know so that we can reach out to Al and get him there.
Or even if they're sick for
Al,
those
you
days.
okay with that?
Yeah.
Not that we're
Even if
rooting
they're
for
ill.
anything like that's happened or anything,
We'll
but
see what I can
Yeah.
do.
You know, whatever strings you can. As
Al-
a matter of
Al's-
fact, go
Al's
ahead.
got no shame. Al he'll step right
As a
in.
matter of fact, we can even Al would be willing to sit up in front of the men's room if necessary.
and he'll bring that plant that he's had for 50 years behind him.
isn't
Right,
that
Al?
the preferred space? I think that's where most dealers want their table, right?
That's good.
I mean, it's definitely walked by the most at a show.
Yeah,
That's a great point.
most traffic.
All right, so you've got White Plains, you've got Hofstra. Vinny, do you go to the National?
I do. Yeah, no, we're set up as a vendor there, thankfully, for the last at least 5 years. It's the only show I set up as a vend.
Do you really?
Yeah,
Good for
once
you,
a
man.
year.
Listen, Christy's doing a nice job for you guys. I know she does work for Joe Drellick also, and those guys. She's doing a nice job, and she writes good copy, by the way.
Yeah.
She writes good
There's a show
copy.
this weekend. We're actually going to go out.
Yeah, and we have a live read for you this weekend, so it's good. All right, and your website address, if people want to, especially the tables for next week. Do you have a number? Do you have a?
Yeah,
Should they just go to?
LuckyCardShows.com. Just go to vendor info.
All right,
And
so
then
if
you
you
can
are
put-
a Boston guy, you're a Boston dealer. Is Paul Borges? I think Paul is already there. He's going to be
I
there.
believe so.
Yeah. If you're a Boston dealer, card dealer, and there are a couple of openings for the Boston show at the Shriners next Saturday, you got to be there. It's a great show. Al, have you ever done the Shriners with the Alton part of it?
We did it 1 year, and we liked it. But it's at the time it was just me, and it's hard
Yeah.
for me, when it's just me, it's hard for me to be in a couple different places at a
Gotcha.
time, so.
All right, Vinny. Thanks for coming on, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Hey,
I
Vinny.
appreciate it, Tom.
Take
Thank you,
care.
guys.
Take
Vinny
care, Vinny.
Balisky, Lucky Promotions. I tell you, man, he's got a good gig.
They've got some good,
Yeah,
other than outside of the 4 World Series MVPs, I should be Hall of Famers. Steve Garvey is there. Dominique Wilkins is going to be there. Mike Haynes. There's some Hall of Famer.
Wow.
Mike Haynes is the one that no one realizes.
Yeah, Mike
He
Haynes.
never
Michael
done a
Haynes was
signing in
great.
Boston. His numbers
Yeah.
retired.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
great.
He hasn't
my
touched the
favorites,
pen
my-
to sign in over a decade.
My fellow BC classmate Bill Romanowski, right? He's
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
be there. Yeah, great.
All right, Vinny,
Rodney
thanks a lot,
Harrison.
brother. Oh, really? All right, take care, Vinny. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Take care. All right, let's get to our friends, Mr. Al Crisafulli from Love of the Game Auctions and Andrew Ehrenstein from Love of the Game Auctions. I want to talk to Andrew first. Andrew, what is your title there? What do you do for Al
What do I do?
besides everything?
I hate when they ask me that question.
Uh-huh.
Well, my official title is the operations manager. I handle the inventory. I enter the lots into the auction software, do a lot of research, a little of everything.
Nice. Now, there's a history. Your dad has an amazing history with the hobby.
Mhm.
JM, I don't think you know this because you're not as enlightened as I am. But why don't you tell us about your dad and kind of his history and background?
Ooh, where to begin? Well, I think people in the hobby know my father as one of the co-founders of TCMA Limited, who is really most well known for creating the minor league card market in the 70s. But they also did a multitude of sets of historical teams, great teams, and he was creating cards from 1969 up until the late 80s. And he also put on the first card shows in New York City. And he's known for hosting one of the very first card shows ever. And that was at his home in 1970.
Now,
So
he
you
happened-
actually, sorry, Zap, you
Go ahead.
actually quite, we ask the question all the time when we do interview. You quite literally grew up in the business.
Yes.
Andrew is on the cover of the program for what? The second national?
You're kidding me.
The fifth national. Yeah.
Fifth national.
How
Yeah.
old were you?
I was 6.
No kidding. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Now, your dad owned a couple of, minor cards, right?
A few. Yeah.
Can you tell us a couple of the cards that he owned?
Well, at different, he owned 3 Wagners, but
John, did you hear that? 3.
between,
Gotcha.
between 1972 and 1974, he owned 3 different Wagners. One of them he discovered on his own, just through, searching out T206s for his collection.
Yeah.
The second one he actually did discover on his own, but he ended up brokering a deal between the seller and a friend of his. And that card ended up being auctioned at a show in Detroit in 1973. And then in 1974, he worked out a deal to drive up to Vermont, where he discovered what is known today as the Jumbo Wagner.
That was in Vermont? I didn't realize that's where that was discovered. John, that was our backyard, man. Why weren't we there?
Why weren't you there? This has been like your life for like 40 years. Why weren't you there, dude?
Jesus. I guess I missed that one. That's awesome, man. I tell you, yeah, your dad, tremendous.
Super nice guy too. Super nice guy.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met him, but that's great, Al. And by the way, just a reminder, after the first break, we will have the last round of the Final Four of the GAX AI baseball tournament that was created by my son-in-law, AI Danny, the baseball savant, who really is not a savant. He's kind of a little bit of a moron, but that's okay. Not a problem. All right, so Al, let's talk about.
Do you get along with
yeah, we
Danny?
get along. Honest to God, he's like my son. Lives in San Francisco with my daughter and 2 grandchildren, but we talk 2 or 3 times a week. Great kid.
That's nice.
Al, let's talk about this auction, man. I have this catalog. It's, first of all, phenomenal catalog. Great catalog. But the thing that stuck out for me, the Type 1 photos are off the charts.
Crazy photos in this one, Al. Yeah, crazy photos.
There's a lot of really good ones, a lot of really important ones. My favorite of the group is probably the Pulitzer Prize winner, the Nat Fine Babe Ruth bows out photo.
That's a great photo.
Yeah,
I like it so much we put it on the cover.
Yeah, no, that's
but it's
now what's your prediction? Can you give us a prediction on that?
I can't. There, that photo it's such a great piece, and it doesn't sell that often. So I mean, you can kind of look at past sales in the 40 to 60 range. This one is a little bit oversized. It's not. Andrew, what's the size of this one? 9 by 12?
9 by 12.
Yeah. So it's a little bigger than typical photos, and that could impact it. And this one is signed by Nat Fine, which is also
I see that.
Cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool.
It's a really crisp photo.
I want to get both you guys in on this. We'll talk about more specific items, Al, but just the whole photo thing. And Andrew, jump in here, because you've been in the business, whether it was now knowing your background with your dad and now yourself doing it, as a grown up. It's photos just in general, I think, are, as I look at all of these auctions, are just blowing up. It's like everyone it just seems like they are growing and growing and growing in popularity with collectors. What are your thoughts on that, Andrew?
Well, anyone that knows me knows I'm a big advocate for collecting sports photography.
Yeah.
And the vintage photos, to me, just have mass appeal, especially historic photos like the Babe Ruth photo, lot number 4 in our auction, because I mean, a Pulitzer Prize winning photo kind of speaks for itself. But
yeah,
when you have photos like lot number 6 in our auction, the Jackie Robinson's first at bat in the major leagues.
Yeah.
You're a fan of baseball history. I mean,
it's the most important thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
it's the most. It is, Al. It is, Al. Al, you hit it right on the head.
Yeah, that really is. I mean,
and I think that unlike a card, and we love cards, we all love cards, but the photo is like it happened then. Somebody was there taking that picture. You captured a moment. It's not a pose. It's not a pose. It was action, and it happened.
And you're hitting, JM. You're hitting on a really, really good point, because I've switched from cards to memorabilia.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's there's just something about memorabilia, like you're talking about. Someone took that picture. It was at that moment. Same thing with a bat or a ball. Someone touched it. The guy's DNA is on it. that's the really, really cool thing now. And I think a lot of vintage card collectors, a lot of them are, not all of them, but some are gravitating towards memorabilia. Tell us about the Jackie's first at bat, Al. That's, again, Andrew mentioned it, but it's a great piece.
It was a shock when it came our way, because neither of us have ever seen an actual photo, right, Andrew? Had you ever seen a photo of that at bat?
No, there are images, very few images that you can find online of the at bat, but in terms of type 1 photos, that's the only one that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's lots of photos of Jackie from that day.
Yeah.
And from, his first day in a Dodger uniform, which we had in our last auction, that kind of stuff. But an actual photo capturing of that moment, where, can you imagine a more electric moment?
No.
Like just a more important thing in sports history.
Let's call it. It's American history.
For
Absolutely.
It's American history. It's not just sports history. It was the ultimate game changer, right?
Yeah, you're right.
And in that moment, somebody took a picture of that,
right?
And I don't know if they knew what they were capturing when they. I mean, obviously, it was a professional photographer that took the photo and all that, so they knew the newsworthiness of it, but nobody knew how that story and that story arc was going to change American history the way it did. And when you look at that photo with the benefit of hindsight, it's chilling. It's chilling.
Well, it is because, and everyone has seen numerous documentaries on Jackie and the moment and movies and what have you.
Yeah.
And it was a dangerous moment.
Sure.
Right? It was a dangerous moment. This wasn't Bobby Orr flying through the air after scoring a goal. Another great Boston history photo. The only person that hated Bobby Orr were those St. Louis Blues fans,
right.
In 1970.
Good point.
This was a moment that was a frightening moment and a scary moment and a very prickly moment. Yeah.
And also a moment of unbelievable pride and
accomplishment and right. No question.
And so just a great thing to have a photo of, and neither of us have ever seen. Right? I mean, Andrew is photography is his expertise. And to have a photo come through here that makes Andrew stop for a minute, is
very cool.
That's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. All right, listen, we are chatting with Andrew and Al from Love of the Game Auctions. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to chat about our AI baseball tournament. You know what the best thing about broadcasting out of your little home studio is? Peanuts there. There's some chips, some cookies. During the break, I'm going to get myself a nice handful of nice, fresh roasted peanuts. What do you guys think?
Fantastic. You know what the best thing for me about you doing it from there is that you're 1,500 miles away from me.
Wow, that hurts. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Curry, two-time child cancer survivor, recipient and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free, integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
For more than 30 years, Robert Edward Auctions has been the industry leader when it comes to helping you realize the most money for your baseball cards and sports memorabilia. In addition to their unparalleled reputation for honesty and integrity, they reach the largest number of bidders in the business and offer lower seller's fees, as well as generous cash advances up front on your valuable material. Contact them today at 908-226-9900. That's 908-226-9900, or at robertedwardauction.com.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectables Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back, and it is time right now for the great AI GAX baseball tournament, brought to us each week by our good friend Paul Borges and the staff at PB Collectibles, your neighborhood card shop. Go to pbcollectibles.com to purchase that special vintage card that you have been looking for. Okay, this week we are in the last game of the Elite Eight of the baseball tournament. Let me I'm just going to go through the seedings first.
You should. Yep.
This is how the Sweet 16 came. This is the list. Number 1, 1927 Yankees. Number 2, the 1906 Chicago Cubs. Number 3, the Cincinnati Red Big Red Machine. Number 4, the 98 New York Yankees. Number 5, the 2001 Seattle Mariners. Number 6, the 39 Yankees. Number 7, the 61 Yankees. Number 8, the 84 Detroit Tigers. Number 9, the 1919 Chicago Black Sox. Number 10, the 2004 Boston Red Sox. Number 11, the 42 St. Louis Cardinals. Number 12, the 86 Mets. Number 13, the 95 Atlanta Braves. 14, the 1970 Baltimore Orioles. 15, the 1929 Philadelphia Athletics. And number 16, the 1955 Brooklyn Dodgers. When we got to the Elite Eight, here are the results. The first week of that segment, The 1927 Yankees beat the 84 Tigers 5-4.
Close game.
Close game. The next week, my 2004 Boston Red Sox beat the 1929 Philadelphia Athletics 7-6 in 10 innings.
10 innings, yeah.
Last week, the 1939 Yankees beat, which I thought they were going to get beat.
Yeah.
Because of the pitching, though. Because of the pitching. They beat the Big Red Machine 4-3. This week's game, we had the 1998 New York Yankees versus the 1986 New York Mets. Two crappy teams, but that's okay. Sorry about that. We had David Cohn versus Dwight Gooden. Good matchup.
It is a good matchup.
Not too bad.
Cohn was a big game pitcher.
All right, so here's the breakdown. First inning. I'm not going to go through all. Most
do
of
it.
them.
Do it.
First inning.
We're nearing the end here. This
Top of the first inning. Chuck Knobloch walks. Jeter doubles him in. Bernie Williams follows with an RBI single. Yanks jump out to a 2-0 lead. Bottom of the first. Mookie Wilson singles, but is caught stealing. There's no runs because the other two batters struck out. Second inning, Darryl Strawberry walks. This is obviously the bottom. Darryl Strawberry walks. Ray Knight singles. Gary Carter rips a 2-run double. Then Lenny Dykstra singles Carter home, and the Mets take a 3-2 lead. Fourth inning. I'll break it down. Bernie Williams, top of the fourth, launches a solo home run to tie it 3-3. Bottom of the fourth, Gary Carter singles and eventually scores on a Danny Heap sac fly.
Danny Heap,
baby.
Danny Heap being mentioned in the all-time baseball.
Mets are up 4-3. Fifth inning, top of the fifth. Jeter singles. Steele second. Bernie Williams doubles him in. Tino Martinez RBI single, plates Bernie, and the Yankees jump out 5-4. We got a bond Bernie here. Seventh inning. Mookie Wilson doubles. Carter singles him in, ties the game 5-5. Eighth inning. Paul O'Neill singles. Jorge Posada doubles. And pinch hitter Shane Spencer's sac fly scores O'Neill. The Yankees take a 6-5 lead. And the bottom of the ninth, who do the Yankees bring in? Mario Rivera enters. Knight singles, but Dave Madigan grounds into a double play to end the game, and the Yankees win 6-5. Okay, now you guys can goof on me. Al, what are your thoughts on that?
So no, I'm gonna be straight with you here.
Yeah.
First of all, this is for entertainment purposes only. You do realize that?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Of course.
No wagering.
I mean, you've got the 2004 Boston Red Sox in the Final Four with some of the greatest teams ever.
Excuse me, you've got Pedro Martinez, you got Kurt Schilling. Come on, what are you kidding?
Let's talk about the 70s Baltimore Orioles pitching staff were,
Well, I'm telling you, I swear on my grandchildren, I had nothing to do with the results of this. But go ahead, continue. I digress.
Okay, so the reality about any sport is that any team can beat any other team on a day.
Sure.
But as much as I was not a fan at all, that 86 Mets team was a monster team. And,
yeah, they were good.
The Yankees were also a great team, but that 86 Mets team, oof.
I vaguely remember.
I agree, Al, but I also think that 98 Yankees team was one of the great teams of all time. That Mets team
and all this.
The 86 Mets were a lot like the 2004 Red Sox in a way.
Right.
They had some guys like
there were 9 guys on the field at a time.
No, and that
but the 98
Ray Knight.
I agree with you.
Ray Knight isn't an all-timer. Wally
I get
Backman isn't
what
an
you're
all-timer.
Yes.
Lenny Dykstra is not really an all-timer. You know what I mean? But
No,
they
but
were
he has
scrappy. And
Alzheimer's.
they were they were tough team. They
Well,
did have a great. Now the pitching staff was really good.
Pitching
Ron
staff was
Darling,
great.
Ron Darling is an underrated pitch. Like he was a good pitcher.
I was at
So-
what game was I at? I was at I don't know if it was game 5, 4, or 5. Who was the lefty for the Red Sox? He was in the rotation, lefty kid.
Hurst, Bruce Hurst.
No, it wasn't Bruce Hurst.
Oh, I don't know.
In the rotation?
Joe
Yeah.
Sambito?
No, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't a start. Maybe it was a spot start for him. Anyway,
Tony Fossas?
no. Never mind. I was at game 4 or 5, and of course we all know what happened I'll tell you a quick story, and then we're going to get back to the auction. We got plenty of time here. So the the Bill Buckner game, all right?
Game 6, yeah.
I have 3 children, and they're all in bed. They're all infants, like 2. I mean, we had the twins, and I think they were like maybe 3, 4 years old. And my wife had gone to bed, and I'm sitting there watching the game. And that day, I went out and bought a bottle of champagne.
Oh,
God,
I'm
you're the
sitting.
reason
This is the God's honest truth.
Wow.
you, not Buckner.
I'm sitting.
Wow.
I'm sitting in my chair because I'm all by myself, and I am going. I'm ready to cry. As a matter of fact, I'm getting choked up. I pop the bottle.
Oh.
I pop the bottle.
Oh,
Are you out of your mind?
I have my glass in, ready to go. Ball goes through, and what do?
Drank it anyway.
Pour it down the sink.
Nice. Good for you. You should have
Poured
poured
it
the
down
whole
the sink.
bottle out. Yeah.
That's what I did.
Your fault. They've been blaming.
That's
Buckner
your fault.
all the time.
Devastated. Yes, Andrew.
I have a couple questions for you about this whole thing.
Yeah, go ahead, Andrew.
I love these kind of tournaments where you take all the great teams of all time and have them play each other.
It's fun.
Oh, it's great. I don't know if you guys realize the 86 Mets are a 108 win team.
They were.
Yeah. How many teams on
one of the great teams of all time?
Absolutely. Actually, if you look at the records of all these teams, I think the 98 Yankees had
14 wins.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
How many teams that started this have more than 108 wins?
It's true.
Believe it or not, Andrew, I would say most of them had at least 104 wins.
Wow.
And higher. Every one of these teams.
Well, you had the Mariners in there from 2001.
How many games did they win? They
won
won
115, 116.
Yeah, 115 or
Yeah.
116.
You have the 1954 Cleveland Indians in this team?
No, you know something, Al, honest to God?
Good one, Al.
They were 18th. They came in 18th.
Okay.
What I did was I asked for the top 20. The Philadelphia A's, I was surprised, came out at 14. I thought they would be way up there.
I have a question, and I'll yield to the vintage guys on this. I mean, I know the teams, but I'm surprised that even with AI and analytics and all that the 39 Yankees beat the Cincinnati Reds was it 75 or 76?
Let me tell you something. Look at that 39
75
Yankee,
Reds.
Look at that 39 Yankee. DiMaggio batted 380 that year.
Yeah.
He killed it. Absolutely killed it. But listen, all right, so that's the results. Next week.
So next week's the Final Four?
Final Four. Yep. Wow. Final Four next week. I can't remember who's playing. I think the 27 Yankees are going to be playing. Who won today?
98 Yankees.
Yeah, I think the 27 Yankees play the 98 Yankees next week.
Yeah, that's it.
That'll be
week
cool.
9 versus week 12. Yeah, Yankees
that'll be
going
cool. That'll
Yankee,
be cool.
Nothing better than Yankee on
There's
Yankee
3
crime.
Yankee teams out of the 4 are Yankee teams, right?
I know, it's
As
horrible.
it should be.
I can't believe it.
What
But
are
let
you
me
gonna
tell
do?
you something, guys. Here's how this is called payback, and then we got to get talking about this auction. After this, we're going to do basketball, the Sweet 16. How many Celtic teams are going to be in that 16?
Uh-huh.
Right.
We're going to see. All right, let's get back. You have a signed Jackie Bowman card. Real cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another cool piece.
Yeah. It's
But
a 49 Bowman. It's not, I mean, it's a rookie era Jackie, and it is a just a beautiful signature. The card is well centered and bright. There's no creases. It's just a great, great card. Everything about it.
Al, can you tell us about this 1886 J. Wood collection?
Very, very cool. It's a photo. It's a cabinet photo. It's an imperial cabinet photo. Andrew, do you remember the measurements of that? Is it 9 by 11? It's one of the nicest, and I collect 19th century photos. It's one of the nicest, clearest 19th century photos I've ever seen. What is there? 6 Hall of Famers in that one?
Yeah, it's
and what's cool about it is that it's taken at kind of a weird angle. So, most team photos, the team is straight on, right? And a lot of the composition of those 19th century photos, when they had group photos, the photographer would sort of group a couple guys together and a couple guys together and sort of make triangles out of the way they were set up. But in this case, the team is lined up like a normal team, but the photographer is like off to the side. So the photo is at a really cool angle. It's just a beautiful piece, and it's the only one like that I've ever seen. And so that one is great.
One more too that I think is absolutely gorgeous is that 1912 Boston Red Sox panoramic display.
Yeah, that's a beauty.
How big is that piece, Andrew? Do you know? Approximately.
Off the top of my head, I can tell you.
Yeah, it's in the description of it, but it's a big photo. It's a few feet wide.
You guys, in this auction, you have some, a lot of times you get great players, whether it's a Gehrig, Ruth, whatever, but the grading, it's a lower level grade, which is fine for a player like that. But you have some highly graded cards in this auction. You have a 49 Bowman Duke Snyder 10. You have some highly graded mantles in this. So there are some quality looking cards in this auction.
One of the things that we're doing in this auction is we've got a very, very high grade 1960 top set that we've broken up. It's one of the registry categories is 1960 tops with wax pack. So it's the full basic set with the wax pack. This is the number 1 set on that registry. I think it's the number 9 set on the overall 1960 tops. There's tons of PSA 9s in this auction.
Yeah.
In that set.
Al, let me tell you something, Al. All kidding aside.
He's gone.
Did we lose Tom?
He started to speak. And then
finally, after 6 years, my dream. I don't listen. Are you back?
There he is.
We got you, Sep?
Oh yeah.
All right, we lost you there. You froze up there.
One of the things I wanted to ask you.
Am I okay now?
And then
but we didn't get your question. We didn't get your question.
Okay. Al, your small little auction house is really beginning to compete with the big guys. I'm talking the big guys with some of the stuff that you guys are bringing in. I mean, you should be really proud of that. Really proud of that.
We have, I think, pound for pound, the best team in the hobby. We approach this not like P.T. Barnum, but we approach this like researchers with respect for the hobby, for the integrity of the hobby, and for what matters to collectors. And I think that focusing on what we're good at and focusing on what we love, and treating everybody respectfully is there's place in this hobby for that. And
well, you're doing a hell of a job. Yeah. Hey, before we take a break, John, there is one item that I really think you should take a hard look at, being in the place of your life where you are right now. And those are the Ted Williams Champ Prophylactics. You should really consider, John, taking a look at those and putting a bid on them.
So now, there's 3 lots. There's 3 different lots there. Okay, so there's the regular lot, which is the 1 package, which contains 3 prophylactics, and then there's another one, which is a package of 4. So that's 12 prophylactics.
All right, so 12. That's 15. Go ahead. So far, we've got 2 days worth for John.
And then And then there is the what we call the wishful thinking package, which is a case of 48 packages of 12.
JM, that'll get you through June. That'll get you to June.
I'd be willing to try them. I'm just afraid that I would get a splendid splinter.
Oh, awful. All right, listen, we're going to take, that was actually pretty good. We're going to take a quick break. Andrew's in the house. Al's in the house. We've got another segment. Hang in there, and we shall be right back. John, bid on those. I'm telling you, bid on them.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free, integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. Highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
Okay, we are back, and we are chatting with Al Crisafulli from Love of the Game Auctions and Andrew Ehrenstein from Love of the Game. But first, JM, how about our good friend Joe Drellick and the CSA Show?
You're right, buddy. CSA Shows is proud to present the Chantilly Show, being held on April 4th through the 6th, held at the Dulles Expo Center in Chantilly, Virginia, just minutes from the Dulles International Airport. Celebrating 28 years at the same location, there will be over 450 dealer tables exhibiting on over 125,000 square feet of space. With both vintage sports cards and memorabilia, as well as modern-day sports treasures, you won't have to look very far for that special card, bat, ball, or autograph. Major auction houses, third-party grading companies will be on site to assist you with your collecting and authentication needs. Some of your favorite superstars will be on hand, including NFL stars of today like Jamar Chase, Dak Prescott, and CeeDee Lamb. Pro Football Hall of Fame 2025 inductees Eric Allen, Sterling Sharp, and Antonio Gates. Baseball Hall of Famers Johnny Bench, Cal Ripken, David Ortiz, and many more. Over 40 guests in total. For more information, go to www.csashows.com. That's the Chantilly Show, where you can find all of your sports collectible treasures.
What else you got for me?
We got a lot, my man. We're talking about the Boston Show. We had Vinny on earlier in the program. The Boston Show, presented by Lucky's Promotions, is Friday through Sunday, April 11th through the 13th, held at Shriners Auditorium in Wilmington, Mass. Shop over 300 of your favorite hobby dealer tables on over 40,000 square feet of this sports collectibles paradise of vintage and modern-day sports cards and memorabilia. Authentication companies in attendance this weekend: BAS, JSA, grading companies in attendance over the weekend: BGS and SGC. The Boston Show is family-friendly. Kids 12 and under get in free, but they must be accompanied by a parent or guardian. Show hours are Friday, 12 p.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday, 9 to 5, Sunday, 10 to 4. Admission is $15 per day. Kids under 12 free with a paid adult. Free autographed guests Saturday and Sunday with paid admission. Get ready for the biggest and best show in Boston this April. Manny Ramirez, David Ortiz, Mike Lowell, and Steve Pearce are all together for the first time. The 4 Red Sox World Series MVPs. Super tickets are available for photo ops and autographs for all 4 of the Red Sox World Series MVPs together. Other signing guests include Jonathan Papelbon, Wade Boggs, Andre Dawson, Steve Garvey, Dominique Wilkins, Scott Cooper, Mike Haynes, Rodney Harrison, Ronnie Lepet, and more. Go to luckycardshows.com for tickets and more information about the Boston Show at the Shriners Auditorium in Wilmington, Massachusetts. That's luckycardshows.com.
And don't forget, he's got 15 tables left. So if you're a local dealer.
And he's gone. Gone.
I can host if you want.
It's such a great photo of him, too.
Zap, we lost you again. Are you back?
Again? It's impossible. Hold on. How about now?
Don't start playing with stuff.
Am I there? Am I there now?
We got you.
Okay. I do have a question. Being a Red Sox fan, being a lot of Red Sox fans that watch the show because of who we are, you have a 1915 Red Sox team photo. Tell us about that.
This is a great Type 1 photo of the Red Sox with a rookie Babe Ruth right there in the picture. It's a well-known photo. This particular one comes from the estate of Smokey Joe Wood, who's also in the photo. It's pretty great. Andrew, you want to speak about that photo at all?
Yeah, I mean, any rookie era Babe Ruth photo is going to be desirable, and it's a large format photo. It's 8x10. It's encapsulated by PSA. Trish Speaker's in the photo. Smokey Joe Wood, whose estate the photo came from, he's there. It's a
pretty great piece.
Great piece.
Andrew, we talked about photos earlier in the show and how a lot of collectors are navigating toward that. In this particular auction, you have some very rare scorecards also in the show, in the auction, I should say. And Andrew, we'll start with you, and Al, you can comment on this too. Do you find with the results of your auctions that some collectors are navigating to like certain things? I'm going to collect scorecards. I'm going to collect programs. I'm going to collect photos. What are your thoughts on that? Like sort of the trends with collectors?
I think certainly collectors have their niche, and when you get to know different collectors, you realize they're after, this guy's after photos and this guy's after scorecards. So I think there is some crossover, but I don't know, Al, do you think, what do you think?
I think there's a couple of things happening. Number one is a lot of card collectors, once they get their set or they get their player complete, they're looking for companion pieces to that. They're looking for things they can display. And then there's also sort of an inherent scarcity that goes with things that were not designed to be collected. Right. So cards were made to be collected. And so, especially now, people get them, they save them, they preserve them in great condition. But when you start looking at things like scorecards, which were really meant for you to write on and fold up, and, the game is over, you throw it in the trash or whatever, ticket stubs, photos that were meant to be, that they were distributed to newspapers that were meant to be put in the newspaper, and they're all marked up and cut and all of this. These things are much, much more rare. And I mean, even if you just think of scorecards at games, okay?
Yeah.
There's 35,000 people at the game maximum, right? How many of those bought a scorecard? How many of those saved a scorecard?
Right.
Oh, and so, then when you start to talk about 19th century stuff, it's like, wow, this is, people are starting to realize this isn't rare because the manufacturer made one of them. This is rare because one survived, right?
Correct.
And there's a big difference when you start to think about vintage stuff.
Great point.
A minor league baseball card that comes from the 1880s. I can't off the top of my head remember the player or the year, but it comes from the first set of minor league baseball cards ever issued, and there's 3 known surviving cards from that set. It's just 3 cards.
Yeah.
This is one of 3 in the world, so it's like, that's rare to me. Like they made these cards, they distributed them however they did. They were available to people in 1886 or the year that they came out, and 3 cards have survived that we know.
That's unbelievable.
And so that's rarity.
Yeah.
Hey, Al, Harry Aganis was a legend in the city of Boston and Massachusetts. Great athlete. Unfortunately, he died at a very early age.
Yeah.
I see you have a 55. That was the year he died, right? Tell us about that piece.
It's pretty amazing that it even exists. It's a 1955 Topps Aganis that's signed. Now the story goes that he broke in with the Red Sox in 1954. They lured him away from, I want to say it was the Cleveland Browns.
Correct. He was a hell of a football player.
Yeah, football player. He played basketball too.
Yeah.
He was an All-American, right? Football player.
Yeah.
And the Red Sox gave him a little bit better of a signing bonus to keep him in Boston. And he broke in with the 1954 Red Sox. He had 11 home runs, if I remember my stats right.
Yeah.
And then came back in 1955 during spring training, had to win his position back. Okay, and he did. Then he got sick very early in the season.
Right.
And he wound up passing away. He died from a pulmonary embolism in June of 1955.
Unbelievable.
Somehow in that window, he signed this 1955 Topps card, and it's been authenticated, encapsulated by PSA.
I mean, that's potentially, that could possibly be his last autograph.
It could be. It's I mean, it's the only graded. It's the only one that PSA DNA.
I'm going to take a look at that out. You know, you're killing me today because, quite frankly,
if you're a Boston sports fan, it is a really.
I'm gonna throw a couple of bids in.
Yeah.
Listen, before we got about 2 minutes left. I want to ask you this, both of you guys. Are manufactured rarities getting out of control, or is it my imagination with these cards? Al, you first.
I mean, people collect what they like, and that's a thing that the manufacturers have sort of jumped on. These one-of-one cards go. It's hard to look at these cards selling for $1 million that are manufactured one-of-one,
and they're doing it, and it's happening.
But I can tell you that it was maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. There was a guy who came into my office. He owned a bar, and his bar went out of business. And he came in with all of this stuff that he wanted to consign. And he was saying that, well, I bought very well. I only bought the most rare stuff. And he had all of these prints. This one was 1 of 25, signed by Joe DiMaggio. This one was 1 of 500, signed by Joe DiMaggio. And this one was 1 of 250, signed by Joe DiMaggio. And ultimately, he had all of these things that were not rare at all. It just was, it was barely anything auctionable. And he had spent thousands and thousands.
So many people are doing that today. Andrew, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it is the antithesis of what we do.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
And what we say. But to me, it's generating excitement. I see it generating excitement. People,
especially with younger kids, younger collectors.
Right. I was going to say the kids love it. They want to chase the cards. You see these guys ripping packs at the show, at the National and all the big shows, and they're going bananas, and you hear all the cheering, and so
it's hard to be bummed out when you read a story of a little kid pulling a card out of a pack and getting $1 million.
And you're right.
Right, but
it's cool for that kid, but
on the other end, are those cards going to retain their value? Is anybody going to know what they're looking at 30 years from now?
Well, I'll tell you the other thing.
Right?
Is that it has really watered down. Am I gone again?
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
It has really watered down signings today that didn't come out of the manufacturer. In other words, Roman Anthony, a rookie card. If you approach Roman Anthony today and he signs that rookie card in front of you, it's nowhere near worth what it should have been way back. Am I wrong?
I mean, I think that it's, again, far be it from me to be critical of how anybody decides that they want to collect it, how anybody wants to go after the hobby. It's just not what we do. And we tend to focus on more obscure, more rare, and that tends to be really old. And kind of like you, but it's just what we're about, and it's where we come from, where we have this healthy respect for the history of the game and all of the different sports that we sell, that doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong with the modern stuff, but I think that if I were to have dollars to invest, and I try not to approach this as an investor, but if I had dollars and I was going to invest, I would feel a lot more comfortable with somebody whose story is already written than I would with somebody who is one rotator cuff, one
exactly.
steroid.
Totally agree with you.
I lived through Joe Charbonneau and Mark Fidrich and guys like that who were great fun.
Right.
I mean, you could even say guys like Mattingly, right?
Sure.
Who were at the top of the game. And this story just didn't play out the way Mickey Mantle's story or Ted Williams' story did. And so I would prefer, if I was going to give somebody advice on where to invest their money, I would, if it was going to be in the hobby, I would say, somebody whose story is already written, like Jackie Robinson, is a better bet for you than somebody who hasn't set foot on a major league ball field, or who is just Tommy John surgery. It's just waiting to happen.
Totally agree. All right, when is your auction end?
Saturday the 5th.
Saturday, April 5th. And how can people? You can still register.
Yep. Loveofthegameauctions.com.
Yep.
He's
you
gone
knew
that quick, but
you knew what he was going to say.
We know each other so well, I can finish his sentences. It's loveofthegameauctions.com, and we can take bidder registrations right up till Friday.
Awesome. Al, thanks as always. And by the way, Al is going to be co-hosting the first hour. We're doing a special 2-hour show at the National, and Al's going to be doing the first hour with me co-hosting. Appreciate it. All right, Andrew, thanks so much for coming aboard.
Thanks for having me.
JM,
see you, Andrew.
Say hi to your squeeze. And with that being said, to our viewers and listeners, as always, thanks so much for the support. Chrissy, great job.
Absolutely.
And happy collecting. Happy collecting.